can go out on the town tonight, and my dear, we will see the city lights. Oh, Electric City, you look so pretty.
Welcome to Current Buzz. In this episode, our producer sits down with Councilmember Steve Kirven, and we have a tribute to the 9/11 victims.
Hello, I'm Beth Batson, and welcome to City Insights. Over the next few weeks and months, we'll be sitting down with each of our 9 city council members to talk about what's happening in the Electric City. Our guest today, Councilman Steve Kirven. Welcome, Councilman.
Thank you.
You represent Seat 1 on the City Council. What is that geographic area?
Basically, it's in the northernmost part of Anderson, primarily on the east side of Clemson Boulevard, a little bit on the west side, but generally it runs around the Concord School area, Concord Road, Concord Avenue, Kings Road, Reed Road, that area.
Okay, and you've been on City Council for nearly 20 years now, including representing 2 different areas. What led you to public service?
Well, I grew up in Anderson, and I've always had a great affection for Anderson, and I enjoy being involved and helping as best I can to try to make Anderson all it can be. And it's a big job, and I think it takes a lot of different organizations to help us achieve that goal, including the county government and the city governments and the school districts and the private sector. So all together, hopefully we can create a quality of life in Anderson that is as good as it can be.
Yes. And the council, of course, has 3 clear priorities: neighborhoods, downtown, and recreation. Given your perspective as a long-term member of council, how has that model of focus led to success over the past decade?
Well, I would probably say that that's a little bit of a misnomer, and that those are our 3 priorities. For me, I start with the basics. I start with police, fire, and sanitation. Those are the things that the citizens need and want, and we have to have those. The 3 areas that we concentrate on are really areas that we look to sort of improve our community, and that is downtown, recreation, and the neighborhoods.
Okay, well, yes, sir. And speaking of downtown, you're on the committee to implement the downtown master plan. We have had a lot of success there. What's the latest?
Well, let me just say, first of all, the downtown area, sometimes people don't fully understand the city's role. And as I see it, the city's role is to try to create an environment where people can be successful. And we do that by trying to create the infrastructure and to have some of the public spaces that are attractive and helpful for businesses. Then we want to try to recruit as many different businesses as we can and hope they're successful. They all will not be successful, but some of them have been very successful, and there's always an interest in coming in and giving it a try.
And of course, as you mentioned a moment ago, one of the most important roles of city government is to provide for the protection of our citizens through fire and police protection. You serve on the Public Safety Committee. What are we doing to help ensure and improve the protection of our citizens?
Well, as I see it, the first thing is we have to have the right leadership in those areas. And we've been extremely fortunate in having Martin Brown as our police chief, and then having Dale Horn and his predecessor, Jack Abram, as our fire chiefs. And those men have done a tremendous job in turning those units into even more professional organizations than they ever were before. Then secondly, our biggest role is to make sure they have the resources that they need to get the job done by way of equipment, facilities and so forth that they can use to perform the job we've asked them to do.
You also serve on the Public Works and Utilities Committee, which includes our wastewater treatment plant, among other things, which I understand plays a key role in economic development. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. You know, that's probably not the most glamorous part of city government. It deals, the Public Works in general deals with the picking up the garbage and the trash and making sure that the sewer is running properly, but nevertheless, those are some of the areas that touch everyone's lives every day. And so I like to say that picking up the garbage and the trash is one of the most important things that we do, because everybody that lives in our city really enjoys having that service. They may never have to call the fire department or the police department, but they want their trash picked up, and we do a good job doing it, and hopefully we can continue to do a good job. But now you mentioned the economic development part of that, and yes, the water and the sewer are vital to that, and we have endeavored to make sure that we have a top flight operation with the best facilities and the best capacity that we can afford. And by doing that, we make ourselves more attractive to new industries that want to come into the area.
Good. As you look back, what are some of the things you're most proud of, and what are you most excited about going forward?
Well, I guess I would be most proud of the way that we've been able to plan carefully and stay ahead of the curve in a lot of different areas. And finance is one of those areas that is very important. You know, we were able to anticipate the downturn in the economy, and we were able to make some adjustments, and as a result we have been able to weather that storm fairly well. Doesn't mean it's not tough, and it doesn't mean we don't have to tighten our belt and be more efficient, but that's an area that we have done well in, and I'm very proud of that. Now, going forward, I think that we have some projects that are on the horizon that will be, I think, well received by the public, and you know, one of my personal goals is to someday be able to, in one form or fashion, eliminate the tax on personal property within the city. And I've had discussions about that with the city manager, and hopefully we can look more closely at that as our economy improves.
That's good. Anything else?
Well, I'd just like to say that, you know, we have a wonderful group of city employees, that they're dedicated, and they'll do anything that they have to do to get their job done. And I personally think they contribute greatly to the quality of life that we have in Anderson, which I think is good. We always work to make it better, but I just appreciate being allowed to be a part of it.
Good, and we thank you for your leadership over the years.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on City Insights. If you have questions or comments, please contact us at currentbuzz@cityofandersonsc.com. Thanks, and have a great day in the Electric City.
Hello, my name is Dale Horn. I'm Chief of the Anderson City Fire Department. I'm pleased today to tell you about our World Trade Center artifact. We've waited almost 2 years for news from the Port Authority for New York and New Jersey to find out that we have been selected to receive one of their artifacts. To date, they've received over 1,500 requests for artifacts throughout the world, and their goal is to try to fill all of those requests before the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Their procedure, when you're approved to receive the artifact, they walk through their museum and they'll pick out a piece especially for you. And whatever that piece is, your only obligation is to have it brought to your location. And I could imagine us receiving this 50-foot beam and all the thousands of dollars that it was going to cost to get it brought here. But if we needed to take on partners or whatever we had to do, we was going to accept the artifact. Luckily for us, our piece is 36 inches long and weighed 140 pounds, and UPS ships up to 150, so we had it delivered to our door. Okay, the piece is located in our museum at the fire department, and originally we had planned on putting this inside a glass case. The more we thought about it, we thought we would just leave it like this, and you can actually come by anytime, see the piece, actually put your hands on it. This is the 10th anniversary, and also we want to get the pieces out and display them publicly and make sure that what happened to us on 9/11 is never forgotten. We want to make sure it's remembered forever. That on this day, 343 firefighters, the bravest in the world, lost their lives at the World Trade Center. And a lot of them were new firefighters. They didn't realize what they were going into, but there was a lot of veteran firefighters there that knew what they were going to. They knew what the outcome was going to be, but they still went to try to save those lives. And I, again, would like to welcome you to come by the fire department. Usually Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is a good time, but if you catch the firefighters here at a reasonable time, if they're not out of the station, just come in and ask them to let you come into the museum and look at the artifact and look through all the other stuff in the museum. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Current Buzz. Please send your comments and suggestions to currentbuzz@cityofandersonsc.com, and we'll catch you again next time.